Fat Guy Flies RC. Alright, time to take up the Fly Fan 70mm Czech Republic JAS-39 Gripen. Take her up and have some fun. This is the maiden flight. I've only taxied around the driveway and down my road for a range test, but other than that, she's ready to go. She's never been in the air. The only thing I've modded is I've given her a KM model afterburner, and I've given her a clear coat.
Motor is hot. It will burn you.
Oh boy, motor is hot, it'll burn you. Alright, absolutely beautiful model. This was a present to me from both my children and my beautiful camera precious. Alright, I've got the canards set just as elevator, just to work with the elevator. So I got pitch roll control is aileron only, but pitch control is canards and elevator. First fly of the Gripen. All right. Reset my timer for
starting to fun over.
3.5 minutes. High rates. Here we go. No flaps.
Tucked away. Time remaining 3 minutes.
Flying pretty good. Flying real good, actually. Decent amount of, not too much, a little bit of down elevator needed to maintain inverted.
Time gear is down.
All right.
Gear is tucked away.
Now I know how she's going to land. Like I said, this is the maiden flight. Takes a little while to spool up. All right.
Gear is down. Time remaining 1 minute.
All right. All right. Let's got 45 seconds left, but I don't have telemetry per se. I want to check his battery. And if we got enough to take her up one more time, we will. But that was definitely a successful flight. Very much so. Unplug that KM model afterburner. 45%. We can take her up one more time. Just one more up and down. I like my battery placement, just barely behind the firewall there. Okay. Nice convenient top loader, which makes sense with a jet. All right. Okay. One more quick up and down.
Motor is hot. It will burn you.
But I will tell you, my estimation of her right now is she does need a little more power. All right. Here we go.
30 seconds. Gear is tucked away. 20 seconds.
Make one pass here.
Gear is down.
All right. What I noticed is she needed just a little bit of up trim. If I remember, I'd have to watch the video to see what I was saying. But I got her, dialed in now, so I really can't really tell. I've got the front canards angled down just about about a millimeter down from level, and that seemed to work really well. And I've got, looks like I ended up with the ailerons or elevons down about 2 millimeters also in the back. And that seems to work out really well. But we'll go over all my rates and everything, all my AS3X rates and everything back in the man cave. All right, we were 39 seconds over on a 3.5 minute timer, so we flew for a total
Motor is secure.
of 4 minutes and 9 seconds. Definitely a successful maiden. Thank you, honey. Thank you, Precious, for the plane for Father's Day. I know it's early. Huh? Thank the kids too. Thanks to the kids too. They're all three of them. My wife and both kids, they got together and they said we're going to buy this for Dad. 29% left, so that's perfect. That is perfect. All right. Well, there you go, folks. That one thing I have found so far, don't pick it up in the front here. If you're going to pick it up, don't pick it up in this front triangle here. This is a weak point. This is going to break. Pick it up behind the wing, where the wing bolt is. Pick it up back there. Pick a little more of a beefier spot. And given how much she seemed to struggle taking off, she's got enough power to get herself flying, but she's not a powerhouse. I definitely can say she's not a powerhouse. She's an adequate power. That's the best way to say adequate power. So I am not going to fly with the ordnance. I'm going to leave her. Well, I got the wingtip ordnance on. But other than that, I'm going to leave. That's all I'm going to fly her with is just this right here. I'm not going to put the drop tank or the other ordnance on. I think like that drag will be that much detrimental to her. In fact, I'll probably take these outer missiles off also. But like I said, the only thing I've done is given her a clear coat and a KM model afterburner. Running an AR-631 Spectrum receiver in there. And back in the man cave after our flights today with this, we'll go over all the rates and everything I found about the plane. But that was definitely a successful maiden, and that is one beautiful Czech Republic JAS-39 from Fly Fans from Banana Hobby Distributors. All right, y'all have a good and God bless y'all. Don't forget, faith, family, and friends, and the JAS-39s. Bye-bye. Well, hey, folks, this is Fat Guy Flies RC coming to you from the Fat Guy Flies RC studio. All right, this is the all-new, just recently released Fly Fans 70mm Czech Republic JAS-39 Gripen. I want to say L30. I bet you in the video, a flight video, I bet you I call it an L39. It's a JAS-39 Gripen. All right, it's in the Czech Republic livery. Now, absolutely beautiful plane. I have the canards set up for pitch only, not roll. Okay, let me go ahead and go over the specs of the plane real quick. 70mm obviously has canards, has elevon set up, and that's elevon A set up in your if you're using Spectrum, just so you know. Have a KM model afterburner in there, and I've given her a clear coat. All right, let's go over the rates, my flying rates, not my AS3X rates, but my flying rates. And the rates apply and are trimmed with the canards also. The ailerons are 100% throws with 30% expo. The elevator are also 100%, but with 30% expo, and they trim with the canards. And the rudder is 100% throws, but with 40% expo. All right. Now, obviously I don't have flaps, so I don't have a flap setting. In my AS3X, I have an AR-631 installed. Okay, my gains on roll, pitch, and yaw are 40, 50, and 60. Okay, priority on roll, pitch, and yaw are all at 140. Heading I did nothing with. Stop lock is at 35 on roll, pitch, and yaw. And release rate, which I didn't mess with, 55, 55, and 75 on roll, pitch, and yaw. All right, one-time gains adjustment, no nose wheel gyro. So really, the AS3X gains are at the default that the AS3X Plus comes in. I flew around with her, did 3 flights with her, including the maiden, and she was great. Make sure that on your canards here, when you're setting it up, these are actually, if you look, it's slightly down, about one or 2 millimeters down. That's where you want that to be. Also, that's your default trim position. Also, if you look at the end of the aileron or elevators, they're ever so slightly down, maybe 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters down. You want that, otherwise she's going to pitch up on you. Believe it or not, she'll pitch up. If you don't do this with the canards, she's going to really rise on you an awful lot and want to have more of a higher alpha type stance. And y'all watched how I flew, and by the time I had the 3rd flight in, she was flying around high alpha all the time. So I can just imagine if these canards were perfectly level and neutral flight, that she'd be really maybe almost uncontrollably high alpha. So good flying plane. Let me show you my inside setup. Battery's back here in the mid. Now, I've got the ordnance on. Don't fly the ordnance. She doesn't have enough power. The ordnance to me are just for looks. But see where I've got the battery? Okay, that's a 4,000. Pretty much take right, maybe almost a finger length width in from the very front.
and maybe 4 inches from the back, 3 inches from the back. XT90, that's the AR631, and that's my KM model afterburner in there. Folks, I want to tell you, getting the CG on this thing, trying to find a number to give you in the manual is impossible. There is no, they just give you a picture. And they tell you in the manual that CG is directly at the base of the battery hatch. So basically, you've got these hard wing plastic connectors go straight out where this decal is, where this panel line, maybe you can see it, where that panel line ends right there. Same thing over here. Where that ends, that's where the CG point is. So putting it right there, and she still wants to be a little nose heavy on me, or seems to be a little nose heavy. Let me get from underneath here. And there's really no, and she still wanted a high alpha on me. That's pretty good. That's actually pretty good right there. That's not too bad. Now, got the gear down, I got all the ordnance down, or ordnance on her. Like I said, don't fly with the ordnance, okay? She just doesn't have enough power. The best way to describe it, she flies scale and she has adequate power. Gear, pretty good, stellar gear. I mean, it's not super fast, but definitely not a slouch. And I had I've had pretty good landings with this thing. This is not a hard plane to fly. It is not hard at all to fly. I went ahead and glued my nose cone on because the magnet they used was a little, it had a hard time. It would stay in there, but yet I found myself keep having to press it in, and I just said the heck with it. And the rear exhaust tube sticks out far enough and the plane is level enough, I just stand her on her exhaust tube in the corner and she does just fine like that. Now, the only problem with that is that exhaust tube is made of nothing but foam, no plastic. Okay, just as long as they don't not move it around too much. Put your little piece of packing tape. They didn't put any kind of protection back here. And I had a couple where my landings from coming in, and I know I caught that tail. So make sure you put a little piece of tape to protect that. And some of these decals, like you can see right up in here, not quite sticking. They didn't do a really good job of making sure these decals are stuck on here. Like right there is pretty obvious. But give yourself a good clear coat. Now I used, oh yeah, don't grab it from up here. Up here in this section here, before or forward of these wing joints, because or wing hard points, because that's just, there's not much connected and you could easily break that foam if you grabbed it too hard. Use a product that I like to use. It's perfectly foam safe, and this is what I used on this, and this is just mid-wax polyacrylic in the clear gloss. It gives a nice protection to the foam, and then it's like a clear coat on a paint job on a car, basically. And about once a year, coat it again, just nice. One good solid coat's all you really need. Okay, it just protects it, and it makes it look good. Okay, the canards I did have, y'all watched the build video. The canards I did have a hard time getting them to line up and get those screws to line up. There was a little bit of plastic material in the screw channels, but I got that out and then she screwed in just fine, which is common. Without a battery, she will rock back on that tank, so don't store her with a tank on unless you're going to stand her up on a nose like that. But let's see, we talked about CG, we talked about the rates I flew in, we talked about things to look out for with a canard and your Elevon setup. She's a good flying plane. She flew better. My very second and last flight, I flew with absolutely no ordnance on at all, and I had a fairly light 4,000, and that was the best flight at all. So really, 3600 6S or a 4000 6S that's on the light side that has at least a 40C discharge, and you'll be okay. Had no problem with getting a little over 4 minutes of flight time and came back at 20-30% on the battery, so that's fine. Really, I can't think of much else to say. She'll want to naturally high alpha on you. So be aware of that. And that's actually a good thing because this is a Death Dorito. It's a good looking plane. It's a good flying plane. And this is a plane I was surprised by my kids. Both my kids and my wife got together, and I was looking at it. They saw me looking online. I said, look, it's got eyeballs on the canards. And I kept going on and on about that. And next thing I know, I'm getting a delivery. And they said, that's your early Father's Day present. I'm like, well, okay. I truly am a blessed man. I really am. All right, folks. Well, there you go. That is the Fly Fans 70mm JAS-39 in the Czech Republic livery. Mean looking, good looking plane, good flying plane. If you're looking for a good 70 for your first Delta wing with a canards, this is a great choice. This is a great choice for that. And there you go. Thank you so much for watching. God bless y'all, folks. Don't forget, faith, family, and friends, God is good. Let's keep them in the air. And that's the gripping. Which mean, isn't it?